After death, does the soul exist? If there is a soul, where can I see it? Is it inside my body? How vast is the universe? Does it have boundaries? Will the universe exist forever? These questions have troubled humanity for thousands of years. Countless thinkers, philosophers, and modern scientists have been tirelessly seeking to get closer to the truth. 2,600 years ago, during the Buddha's time, people asked him the same questions. How did the awakened one, Shakyamuni Buddha, address them? Hello everyone, this is the Dharma Practice Channel Insight We. Today we are going to share the story of the Sutra on the parable of the arrow. Once, a disciple of the Buddha was meditating alone when suddenly questions about the soul, destiny, and the universe arose in his mind. After death, does the soul exist? Can it reincarnate? Is our life predetermined by destiny? How vast is the universe? And so on. These 14 questions covered topics like existence, cosmic boundaries, and the soul-body relationship. A single ignorant thought creates karma and suffering. Troubled, the disciple went to ask the Buddha, hoping that the Buddha would answer them. He even said, "Buddha, if you know the answer, you should say what it is. If you really don't know, you should honestly admit that you don't know. Buddha, if you can answer these questions, you are a true wise person, and I will continue to follow you in practice. If you can't answer, I will go find another teacher." Despite the disciple's aggressive manner, Buddha did not answer his questions directly, but instead he asked him some questions. "When you chose to follow me, did I promise to answer these?" The disciple said, "No, Buddha." "Did you demand answers as a condition?" "No," the disciple replied. The Buddha continued, "Then why are you now asking these questions to decide whether to continue following me in practice? You foolish person." The disciple felt ashamed, silent, and speechless. Buddha's abrupt question was like a sudden blow to the head, making him break into a cold sweat and leaving him speechless, with truly nothing to say. However, the disciple seemed a bit unconvinced and somewhat puzzled by Buddha's response. Our teacher Shakyamuni, out of compassion, used a parable to further explain his reply to the disciple. "If there is a foolish person who insists that I answer these questions or else he will not follow me in practice, it is like a person who has been shot with a poisoned arrow, suffering terribly and about to die from bleeding and poisoning. His family finally finds a doctor. The doctor says that in this situation, surgery must be performed immediately to remove the poisoned arrow in order to treat the wound and save his life. There is no other way. However, the person who has been shot says, 'You must answer several questions for me before I agree to have the arrow removed and be treated. Tell me the doctor's name, height, weight, skin color, caste, and where he is from. If I don't get an answer, I refuse to have the arrow removed. Tell me the arrow maker's name, height, weight, skin color, caste, and where he is from. If I don't get an answer, I refuse to have the arrow removed. Tell me what kind of wood the bow that shot me is made of, what material the string is made of, and what the arrow feathers are made of. If I don't get an answer, I refuse to have the arrow removed. If you cannot answer these questions and I do not know the answers, I will refuse treatment and you cannot remove the arrow for me." Buddha said that this person would probably die from the poison before getting the answers to his questions. Similarly, if someone is attached to those illusory questions just mentioned, it is like having a poisoned arrow in one's body but refusing treatment. Before getting the answers, this person might leave this world. He will continue to be reborn in the 6 realms, continue to be tormented by the suffering of birth, aging, sickness, and death, and remain in sorrow and distress without achieving liberation. Whether the world is eternal or the soul exists, suffering is real. Answers won't end suffering. You cannot gain wisdom, liberation, or permanent happiness from the answers to these questions. Not only do I not answer, but you should also stop asking. After Buddha's explanation, the crowd suddenly realized and happily accepted it. These are the 14 unanswered questions. The Buddha taught only about ending suffering. When the disciple ignores his own problems of suffering, instead takes these irrelevant questions as the basis for practice, the Buddha refuses to answer. Yongjia Master A Song of Enlightenment says, "The Buddha's seal is at the root. I cannot seek it in the branches and leaves." Some people might think, I also want to seek liberation. If these questions could be answered, and if I knew the answers, I would have more confidence in the path to liberation. I once wondered too, but later I found the answer in a teaching from Dzogchen Khyentse Rinpoche. Many scholars study Bodh Gaya. They read everything about it, so they know its shape, size, distance, and dimensions. They understand a lot, but they have never been there, and they don't even want to go. But some practitioners of the Buddha's teachings, who may not be scholars, think, "Oh, I don't have much time. I only have a short vacation. I can't spend 6 days researching Bodh Gaya. I'll just buy a plane ticket and go there." These practitioners know they are not perfect. They will make mistakes, but they will learn from them and eventually reach their destination. The scholars, however, are still reading books. Of course, if you know nothing at all, it is important to have some information first. Studying is good, and engaging in academic research or critical learning is also good. However, the true purpose of academic research or critical learning is to find the path of practice and then actually practice. We can't get full just by talking about food. May we all walk the path to liberation, be free from suffering, and attain the highest perfect enlightenment.